Hello, my name's Doug Warren, and welcome to a brief presentation designed to show you how to use our Impact of Fees program. While this program couldn't be simpler to use, it's still a very powerful way to quickly show clients how fees and other challenges can impact their future retirement. It's perfect to use this tool in a group seminar presentation or with individual clients. Once the program is launched, you immediately come to the first screen in the presentation. Now, it might help to think of this program as a slideshow, but it's far more powerful because you can interact with the various slides to make your presentation more specific to an individual client's circumstances. Use these arrows to increase or decrease the percentage fee you want to illustrate. And click here to enter the amount you want to use in your demonstration. Note that the amount you enter here will be the total account balance at the age that the person stops working and transitions into retirement. You'll see what I mean in just a minute. Once you've entered the fee and the ending balance, you're ready to present. Each screen has a caption that you can read if you like, or click here to turn captions off and make any comments you feel appropriate. For the purpose of this demo, I'm going to leave captions on and just walk you through a real simple presentation. Mr. Prospect, in planning your future, it's extremely important to understand the potential impact of any fees that are charged against the savings and accumulation vehicles you use. When we first start accumulating, our balances are low, and the fees may not seem to amount to much. For example, with a balance of just $10,000, and an annual fee of 1.5%, only $150 is deducted from the account. Now click screen number 2 to advance to the next slide and continue with your presentation. Even when the account balance grows to say $250,000, a 1.5% fee still might not seem so bad. Advance to the third screen. But as the balance grows, the fees do start appearing to be more significant. Advance to the fourth screen. And once you reach your retirement age, the more successful you've been at growing your nest egg, the greater the dollar amount of the fees. Advance to the fifth screen. At retirement, your objectives will likely change. Now it isn't so much about accumulating more money. Instead, it's about figuring out the most efficient way to withdraw from your nest egg to provide the income that you'll need to support you throughout your retirement years. This is a key part of the presentation because it allows you to discuss the challenge that many retirees face, which is to decide the amount that they can safely withdraw from their retirement accounts while minimizing the risk that they might ultimately outlive their savings. Now, you can increase or decrease the so-called safe withdrawal rate that you want to use to illustrate by clicking these arrows. What should be pointed out to anyone relying on a so-called safe withdrawal rate is that generally fees are not properly taken into consideration. For example, if a person reads or is told that by limiting withdrawals to say 4% of their account balance annually, they minimize the risk of depleting their balances during their lifetime, what is often ignored is that an annual fee of, say, 1.5% actually increases the gross amount that is being withdrawn from the account to 5.5% annually. In other words, the person setting out to follow a strategy of limiting gross withdrawals to 4% can really only take a net withdrawal of 2.5% if 1.5% is being deducted annually to cover fees. Advancing to screen 6 makes it easier to illustrate this point. A 4% gross withdrawal rate, net of a 1.5% fee, would really only generate a spendable amount of $25,000 annually, or $2,083 per month. Now, please understand, we're not suggesting that the fee is actually deducted from the client's withdrawal. Instead, what we're illustrating is that if the client's objective was to limit gross withdrawals to 4%, he or she should actually not withdraw more than $25,000, 2.5% of the balance, because fees of $15,000 would also be deducted by the institution managing the account, assuming they charged a 1.5% fee. And unfortunately, this person's net spendable income is further reduced if these withdrawals were coming from a tax-deferred retirement account, such as an IRA or 401k. You can demonstrate this by clicking here. Now this slide is showing a further reduction in the net spendable income due to the impact of taxes. Use these arrows to increase or decrease the tax rate you want to use in your illustration. Note that when you place your cursor over any pie segment, a window will open that shows the percentage of the gross withdrawal that is consumed by fees and taxes. The sad thing is that many people do not understand that such a large portion of their nest egg could be consumed by fees and taxes. This is why it's so important to not only pay attention to potential fees, but to also be tax-wise about future retirement income that a person's hard-earned savings can generate. If your objective is to only discuss the impact of fees and taxation, you could end your presentation here and not advance to any other slides. However, with this program, you could continue and transition into a discussion of either a fixed indexed annuity or an indexed universal life product. The balance of the slides will be devoted to one of these products, depending on the setting you selected on the first screen at the beginning of your presentation. Let's go back to screen 1, and I'll show you what I mean. At the top of this screen, you'll see two buttons that allow you to set the presentation in either the fixed indexed annuity mode or the indexed universal life mode. I'll leave the program in the fixed indexed annuity mode and quickly show you screens 7 through 16. Advancing through these screens will allow you to demonstrate how indexed annuities with income riders can help manage some of the risks that many retirees face. A person could eliminate the risk of outliving their savings if they limited their withdrawals to only the annual interest earned each year. Unfortunately, in today's low interest rate environment, this might not generate sufficient income. You could withdraw a portion of your principal each year to make up the difference in the income you need, but without sufficient growth, withdrawing principal could eventually lead you to exhausting the entire account balance. And this leaves you with the possibility of running out of money while you're still alive. Another option is to take the risk of investing in the market in an attempt to generate greater growth. And if growth is achieved, you might do well. In fact, you might do so well, you could eventually increase the amount of withdrawals you were taking over time. But if the results were less than what you'd hoped for, your balance might fall, and you could be forced to reduce the amount of your future withdrawals. On screens 13 and 14, you can begin the discussion of how fixed indexed annuities provide protection against market declines. On screen 15, you can talk about how with most other financial instruments, your income or withdrawals stop once your account balance is exhausted. And then on screen 16, you can discuss how by paying a reasonable fee, you can add an income rider to an annuity that can ensure that a regular check will arrive no matter what the balance might reduce to or how long the client might live. Understand, this is not meant to be a complete presentation of any product. It is instead just a starting point in the conversation. Let's return to the first screen and see how the presentation is modified if instead of fixed indexed annuities, we had selected the Index Universal Life mode. The change is actually very minor. The first 14 screens are identical, regardless of the mode selected. The only difference when in the Indexed Universal Life mode is that screens 15 and 16, which reference the annuity income rider, they're not available. This program is a quick and simple way to make your clients more aware of how fees and taxes might impact their retirement in the future. And at your option, allow you to transition into a discussion of annuities or life insurance when appropriate. Thank you for your attention.